The laws and decrees of reform and development in Syria. Legislative Decree No. 58, 2011. This decree exempts the indebted subscribers who have fallen short of paying their electricity bills from all interests, fines, and the overdue allowances in 2009 and before if they fulfill payment by the end of 2011. The laws and decrees of reform and development in Syria. Decree No. 3951, 2011. The General Commission for Employment and Projects Development is tasked with implementing a program to employ citizens looking for jobs at the institutions and companies of the private sector. The government contributes to funding their salaries as follows. The government will pay 1 year's salary for every employee provided that the employer concludes a working contract with him or her for 5 years. The government will pay 50% of the salary of the employee for 1 year provided that the employer concludes with him or her a 3-year contract. The laws and decrees of reform and development in Syria. Legislative Decree No. 6080, 2011. A committee is to be formed that will be headed by the former Minister of Justice, with a membership of 12 judges and lawyers. Its task is to define and describe the crimes of corruption and the mechanism of pursuing their perpetrators and proposing regulations to prevent corruption. The laws and decrees of reform and development in Syria. Legislative Decree No. 7271, 2011. An information committee is to be formed by specialists and experts in the media field. Its task is to work out a new law for information with all its divisions to be compatible with the needs of society and the nature of contemporary information. The laws and decrees of reform and development in Syria. Legislative Decree No. 6721, 2011. A committee is to be formed by judges, lawyers, and university professors. Its task is to work out an integrated strategy to reform the judicial system at all its levels in a manner that secures the independence of this system and to propose the mechanisms needed to regulate the judicial establishment and provide the requirements for its work. The laws and decrees of reform and development in Syria. Legislative Decree No. 6272, 2011. A program is to be introduced under the name Employing Young Graduates in Public Sectors. The General Commission for Employment and Projects Development would be assigned to run this program. The decree has fixed the number of the beneficiaries to be 10,000 a year for a period of 5 years. The laws and decrees of reform and development in Syria. Legislative Decree No. 727, 2011. A committee is to be formed by the Minister of Economy and Trade with the task of studying the social and economic situation and knowing the points of strength in Syrian economy in a manner that would contribute to the economic reform process and the development of social policies. The laws and decrees of reform and development in Syria. Legislative Decree number 62, 2011. This decree permanently instates temporary state employees within a period not exceeding 1 year. The temporary employee who should actually be employed in a job of permanent nature. He should have spent 2 years at least in his current work in the public institutions, except for the companies and establishments of public construction, where he should have spent a period not less than 4 years. The laws and decrees of reform and development in Syria. Legislative Decree number 43, 2011. This decree amends a number of articles of Law number 41 of the 26th of October of 2004. It does not allow the construction, transfer, amendment or acquisition of any real estate right on lands along a border zone, or to occupy such a land through lease or investment or any other law for more than 3 years for the benefit of any ordinary citizen or government official except through previous license. Only the lands that fall within the organizational sketches are exempted. The laws and decrees of reform and development in Syria. Legislative Decree number 42, 2011. This decree reduces the rate of taxes imposed on salaries and exempts the salaries which are less than 10,000 from any taxes, including the additional tax of national defense, schools and municipality fees, and the monetary contribution to sustainable development to be 5% to be imposed on the salaries ranging from 10,000 to 15,000 Syrian pounds, and 22% for net income that exceeds 75,000 Syrian pounds. The laws and decrees of reform and development in Syria. Legislative Decree number 6, 2011. All indebted telephone subscribers at the general establishment of communication are exempted from all interests and other fees due upon them if they start paying their debts in cash in a period of 1 year. The laws and decrees of reform and development in Syria. A legislative decree. The Council of Ministers endorsed on the 17th of May 2011 a draft law on settling the situation of personnel who have signed contracts on annual basis and instate them in job vacancies at the public sector. The laws and decrees of reform and development in Syria. Legislative Decree number 49, 2011. All persons registered in Al-Hasaka foreigners' records are granted the Syrian Arab nationality. The laws and decrees of reform and development in Syria. Legislative Decree number 48, 2011. The Haya Sham Institute for Islamic Sharia Sciences, Arabic Language and Islamic Studies and Researches is to be established in the city of Damascus. It is affiliated to the Ministry of Religious Endowments. The laws and decrees of reform and development in Syria. Legislative Decree number 35/2011. The duration of the compulsory military service is to be amended to become 18 months starting from the date a person joins the service and expires on the first day of the month that follows the date of its end. The laws and decrees of reform and development in Syria. Legislative Decree number 54/2011. The decree regulates the right to peaceful demonstration as one of the basic human rights guaranteed by the Syrian constitution. This right covers citizens, political parties, popular organizations, vocational unions, and civil society organizations, provided that it does not cause any obstruction to public life. The laws and decrees of reform and development in Syria. Legislative Decree number 161/2011. The decree ends the state of emergency declared in decision number 2 issued by the National Council of the Revolution's leadership on the 8th of March 1963. The laws and decrees of reform and development in Syria. Legislative Decree number 53/2011. This decree abolishes the Supreme State Security Council established by the Legislative Decree number 47 for the year 1968. It refers to all cases pending before this court and public prosecution to the competent judicial authority. The laws and decrees of reform and development in Syria. Legislative Decree number 6722/2011. A committee is to be formed by a number of specialists and experts in the field of administration. Its task will be to lay down the general basis for the reform strategy and the modernization of public administration in Syria in harmony with the country's economic policy, and to submit the proposals needed for improving the standard of the government services rendered to citizens, in addition to laying down the mechanisms necessary for reforming the administrative and financial supervision system in a manner that eliminates waste and combat corruption. The laws and decrees of reform and development in Syria. Legislative Decree. A commission is to be formed to lay down the basis for a national dialogue and outline the mechanism and timetable of its work. During his meeting with the members of the Commission, President al-Assad affirmed that dialogue has become possible and capable of providing better results following the issuance of a number of decrees that contribute to the consolidation of national unity and political, economic, and social partnership.